Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about these brushes right here, and these are by Tarte. They came out with them in their new holiday collection, and they paired up with Nicol Concilio. You guys can see her in the back right here. She has her own YouTube channel and she is very popular. I, however, never really watched many of her videos until recently when I was contemplating whether I wanted to get these or not. I absolutely love her tutorials. And I was really intrigued because I wanted to get some new brushes and I saw these on Tarte. They retail for $39 on their website. I was really excited because I feel like it has everything you need. I do, however, have to make a little disclaimer before I start getting into the actual review of the brushes. I just want to say, if you're a big supporter of Nicol and you're going to get offended by anything that I say, or if you already had these brushes and you tried them out and you like them, then you probably shouldn't be watching this video. I so far haven't heard any bad reviews on these brushes. I don't want to hate on the brushes and I don't want to hate on Nicol. I just really want to give you guys my honest opinion. For the most part, I will say that I wasn't really impressed. I do like them and I am, of course, going to keep them. I just want you guys to know that I don't dislike these brushes. I just already have a certain kind of brush routine going on. I think that it's also in part my fault because I didn't really look into the kind of brushes that came with it. I didn't look at like the type of material that was used or anything like that. It's kind of a spur of the moment and it just didn't necessarily meet my expectations. But I did gain some good things. So if you watch until the end, then you'll see which ones I actually do like and which ones actually worked out for me and the good and bad parts of these brushes. So I'm going to be showing you each one, and I'm also going to be telling you guys which of my own brushes I use in the same ways that I use these brushes. So now that you guys know what you're getting yourself into, then I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about the actual brushes. This is the actual set. It comes with 6 pieces. They come in this little box. They also come wrapped in this cute little paper, and I absolutely love this because it has her name on it. And I just honestly thought that was so cool. So first glance, the one thing that basically sold me on the brushes is the packaging. Like, if you guys look at these, just in here, they look so pretty, and I love looking at it on my vanity. They actually ended up being a little bit smaller than I anticipated, because if you guys can see, I have an eyeshadow brush right here, and compared to like this one, it's just really short. I actually find that this is a little bit better because when I am taking things on the go, if I'm putting them like in makeup bags, then those brushes tend to not fit because the makeup bags aren't that wide. But these would fit in perfectly and they'd be so easy to travel with. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the 3 small ones right here, which are the eye ones. And I want to begin with this one right here. This kind of brush, I feel like can work in your crease. It can work for your lower lash line. It can work to smudge anything on your lash line. But I found that it mainly only worked for smudging out my eyeliner. The problem with this one is that I felt it's the only one that's closest to like an all over the lid brush. I feel like that is kind of what I was missing from this collection. So let me show you guys an example of one. It would be something like this, where it's kind of just flat and it's easy to pack on colors. I usually, for the most part, go in with an all over the lid brush with a matte white just to kind of get a little transition color in there or to set any primer that I have going on. And I did try to do this with this one, but the reason that I didn't necessarily find it useful for that is because it is angled and because it's so thin. And I did try that, but I'm just so used to, like, this is one of the ones I have, and I also have a Wet n Wild one. This one works amazing too. These are pretty dense and they're kind of short and fluffy, so I feel like it's just really good to pack on some color and just put it all over the lid. With this one, I had to keep going back in like multiple times in order to really get the color everywhere and to build it up. But I also found that it was pretty good for like under my eyebrow right here on my brow bone. Moving on to the pencil brush in the collection, I actually did like this. The reason why is because I only have one other pencil brush, and it is the e.l.f. one. And I use that one all the time. The reason I preferred this one is because the brush is actually longer. Like, the actual bristles are actually longer. If you guys can tell, this is just a little bit longer than the e.l.f. one. And why that matters to me is because I always use the pencil brush to go directly in the crease. And every time that I'm using the e.l.f. one, since it's so short, the metal part is always hitting that area. And it'll like remove the eyeshadow, or it'll just like start hurting because it's rubbing against my lid. And I hate that so much. So it actually was good to get this one because it really did just get in the crease. I feel like it's just good for applying the actual product. It's good to get in there. It's gonna be precise. It's gonna get directly in the crease. But as far as like the application goes, I feel like it's not really good for blending, which is why we can move on to the blending brush. Because what you can do is apply the color with this one and then use the blending brush to blend it out. This, however, was not my favorite brush. My expectations were just way too high. It is not my least favorite, but it's the one that disappointed me the most. And the reason being is because I do have two blending brushes. So I have these two right here, and these are the ones that I use all the time. Like, this one right here is my all-time favorite. I would go out and buy multiple of these. The brush itself is so soft, and this one is fluffy. So I have two different ones. This one is fluffy and a little bit longer, so it's good to get like just all over the crease area right here, and it blends out perfectly. It feels nice. This one is a little bit thinner and a little bit smaller, so I feel like it's better to get right in the crease. I feel like the one thing that you do need to get yourself is a good blending brush. So this one, I feel like it's about the same size, maybe a little bit longer than the one I already have. And it is a little bit thinner at the bottom, but then it does flare out a little bit more. So I was excited for that because I have heard a lot about like the Sigma brushes, and those are like raved about on YouTube all the time, and I wanted a really good brush like that one, and I felt like this one just kind of looked like it, and I felt like it would work the same way, so I felt like it would just really get into the crease and blend everything out very nicely. The reason I was disappointed is because it doesn't blend things out very well. It'll blend in the crease, but once it comes to like the outer edges and stuff like that, I feel like it just doesn't blend out as much as I would like it to, so I do either get like really patchy areas or I get like a little bit harsher lines. I'm gonna have to play around with this one a little bit more and see if I can get better results than the past times that I've tried it. Now we have the three big brushes here, and I'm gonna start out with this one. This is actually my least favorite of the whole collection. That is not saying that the brush sucks, because like I said, a lot of this is just my personal opinion and the kind of brushes that I'm used to. I am just not a fan of fan brushes in general. That's one of the big reasons. I have a fan brush here already, and I never reach for it. I've tried it a couple times, but this was just so thin, and I just don't like it. I really don't. So I never reach for it. And I also have another big fan brush, and this one, I use it, but I use it to wipe off any like fallout from my eyeshadow or anything like that. For my highlighter, I like using this e.l.f. one. So you can definitely tell the difference of what I like to use. This one just gets the color on very nicely onto the brush, and it covers like this area, and it's easy to just kind of blend out and looks really nice, and I just really like it. I just absolutely love any kind of dense brush. Dense brushes are my favorite. When it comes to this one, the other problem area for me is that it is a stippling type of material. If you guys have tried out like stippling brushes, this is like the exact kind of thing going on, and you can tell because of the way that the brush looks and the way it feels, and then like the color difference. That's usually what stippling brushes look like. And I don't love stippling brushes because they tend to just move the makeup around instead of like really getting into your skin, and I don't like the feeling of it. The feeling of it just feels weird and I don't like it. It makes a weird sound. I'm so picky. I'm being so picky. I'm sorry, but I am just not a fan of stippling brushes. I'm not a fan of fan brushes. It's not going to get much use, but for someone who likes stippling brushes, someone who likes fan brushes, this might actually be like amazing for you. And that's all I'm going to say about this one. So now we're just going to move on to the actual like bigger face brush kind of thing. I don't even know how to explain it. I actually don't even think I have a brush like this one at all, which is why I was also excited for this one. I was excited for this one because in her video, she talks about how this one basically can work for anything. You can use it to contour or to bronze up your face for bronzer. You can use it for blush, and I'm not sure what else she said, but I'm pretty sure you can also use this for like powder. I like big fluffy brushes to just like dust everything, or like my e.l.f. complexion brush, which is this one right here. It's flat, so I just go like this all over. And with this one, it's just kind of hard to use it and manage, and also because the actual brush itself is very straight, it won't really pick up as much powder as I like to really like get it all over the face without having like to dip back every 10 seconds. It didn't work for bronzer, and that is because it is just really flimsy. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's just like really flimsy, so it moves all over the place. Again, because it's so straight, it doesn't pick up as much product as I would like. And the brush that I use for bronzing is this one, which is a Real Techniques one. So you guys can tell it's just a little bit shorter and like thicker, and it's just really fluffy and tapered. So I like that. So I'm going to show you guys the difference in that one. I'm going to use my little Hoola bronzer here. Now with the Tarte one, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell the difference, but I definitely like see it in person. If you guys look at this side, which is my Real Techniques one, it looks a little bit more blended out, and it just looks nicer. It's a little more even. And then when you look on this side, you can kind of tell it's a little bit splotchy. And it's kind of just concentrated onto this area. This one also has it here, but it's a little bit more faded and it doesn't look as intense. Whereas this one, it's like just a splotch, and it kind of looks a little bit muddy. So that is just why it kind of didn't work out for me for bronzer. But I will say that I actually loved this brush for blush. And for reference, I basically use this one, which is like Eco Tools, and it's a little bit of a tapered one. Or I have this one. I have no idea what the brand is. It just kind of looks like this. So I have that style. So I was kind of surprised that I liked this for blush. But because like I said, it doesn't really pick up a ton of product, it's good to dip into my blushes because it's not going to like just get a big streak of color. And that is why I really like it. It looks very natural and it looks soft. And it's hard to get a heavy application with this one. So this, I feel like, just always applies it really nicely, and especially with my MAC blushes, which are my favorite, it gets it on there really nice. I love how this feels on my skin. Like, it feels really soft. And now I'm gonna go ahead and end this on a good note. We only have one more brush to go through, and that is this one right here, which is the Kabuki brush. Oh, I just realized that these actually do have names. I absolutely love this one. I actually did not find anything wrong with this one. It worked perfectly for me, and I'm definitely going to be getting a lot of use out of this one. Oh. Do you guys see that? I ripped it out. I'm kind of sad. Anyways, like, oh my god, it's just amazing. When you like touch it, even just against your skin, you can't feel the individual like bristles. Like, it moves as one brush and there's no like space in between it, and it just feels really nicely. So it blends everything out very, very nicely. Your foundation looks flawless, doesn't get absorbed into the brush itself, whereas other like buffer brushes that I have, they do like it even stains them because it just absorbs so much of the makeup. But this one, I feel like it just kind of lies over top. It blends everything out smoothly. It gives you a very, very nice finish. For the most part, I've seen that you can build it up. I think it also depends on the foundation itself, but how I've been testing it out, it does definitely, like, you can build it up, you can layer it, and it still gives you a nice finish. It never looks cakey, even if you have like dry patches. I'm not a fan of buffer brushes, and I've gotten more into like my beauty blender because it kind of just goes over top, and if you're like going over it with a buffer brush, it'll like accentuate your dry patches. This one though doesn't do that. It always looks flawless, and I love it, and I might actually even be using this a little bit more than my beauty blender. We'll see. I mean, can you tell, like I said, I'm a fan of dense brushes, and this is the dense brush out of the whole collection. So see, it's not that I'm hating on the brushes, I'm just telling you my personal opinion. This is like for the people who can basically relate to me, which is why I wanted to show you guys the comparison of what kind of brush I normally use and how it compares to this brush, because if you guys are thinking about getting it and then you realize, oh wait, these actually aren't gonna get much use because they're not my type of brush. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed it, then please let me know. That's pretty much it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!